W, the greatest letter of the alphabet, especially if you're a football team. And the Falcons showed up to Ratliff Saturday looking for just that, their first W against Western New Mexico, and they came out hungry behind the diaper dandy freshman quarterback Taylor Null, who got them off to the early lead. But the Mustangs fought back and answered with a touchdown of their own, and this game would be a seesaw battle up until the very end. Late in the fourth quarter, the Falcons trailed by 6, but Marquis Simmons showed his boys he is done losing, and the Falcons are too, by putting the team on his back and scoring a touchdown on the final Falcon drive, giving the Falcons a 1-point lead. Western New Mexico was hungry for a midnight snack as well, and they would try to hit the pantry late and steal this one in the fourth quarter, but Keegan Gray plays to win the game. The INT-ENDs this one. Falcons catch their first win of the season, 21-20. I'm Marshall Kramsky, and you are watching Falcon Focus.
From the home of Falcon football, CBS 7 presents Falcon Focus with Jake Dayton and Marshall Kramsky.
What's up, Falcon faithful, and welcome into Falcon Focus. I'm Jake Gayden.
And I'm Tatum Gwynn, and as always, we are joined with UT Permian Basin head football coach Justin Kerrigan. Let's get right to work on an amazing Sunday as the Falcons are coming off their first win this season, and it feels so good to say that.
That's right, Tatum. Coach, first off, how good does it feel just to get a win, to get a W, or one in the W column?
It's a relief, for sure. It was a good feeling. The kids enjoyed it. I think that was the best part about the night was just watching their celebration. As I've watched clips of the game and get to the very end and see Coach Martin, the first one out there on the field, grabbing Keegan Gray, and then all the Twitter posts that came up afterwards. Again, just seeing the excitement for the kids, I think, was special.
Absolutely.
Certainly. Well, on the field, offense struck early. Can you take us through that first TD?
Yeah, it was. We were able to get down the field and kind of broke coaching rule number 1 of don't take points off the board. We'd made a field goal, and they had a roughing the kicker penalty, and gave us a first down, and we decided to go ahead and keep going. Threw one to Kyle McBride. He came down with it, and that was kind of a start to what could have been a great first half. Lots of movement offensively. We just didn't finish in the end zone enough early on, but there in the beginning, it was just giving him a chance. He went up and got it.
I think the most impressive part of last night was, of course, freshman Taylor Null, winning the game, basically having a game-winning drive. What impressed you about him last night?
Well, first off, when we took the field as an offense and we were huddled up before we ever took the field, huddled up on the sideline, as Taylor kind of addressed the guys, something along the lines of, hey, man, this is what it's all about. Let's go win. And just the way he said it, the confidence in his voice, the belief. And then to go out there, he went 4 of 6 on that drive to go however long it was, 90 yards, I'm not sure. In the 4 of 6, there was one throwaway, and then there was one kill play where he spikes the ball, stop the clock. And just his ability to stay in there and make those throws and those big plays and unfazed by the moment.
Absolutely, and that's impressive, especially for someone so young taking the field and having that leadership. So after the Falcons, they took the lead. Western New Mexico tied it up, but after that, no more points. Zip in the first half. What were your thoughts on the Falcon defense?
Won the game for us.
Yeah.
You can talk about going down the field in the end and scoring that last touchdown. But the defense won the game for us, there's no doubt. They gave up, I think, 14 points on the night. 13, there's a blocked extra point in there. We had a blocked field goal as well, but defense was lights out. They absolutely kept us in the game. They've been doing that all year, and this time we were able to reward them for their efforts offensively.
All right, quick question here, Coach. Any halftime speech? What was it this week? Anything crazy? No?
Yeah. The only thing I did different this week is I usually meet with the staff outside the locker room first before I go in and address the team. I went in and addressed the team first. I just wasn't happy with how well our offense was playing. We had many opportunities, and we just again not consistent enough. And about the only difference was I went in there, showed some emotion, quickly then stepped out and regrouped with the staff.
Marshall is taking an in-depth look at the Falcons' offense and was able to pick our Week 5 Falcon Offensive Player of the Week.
That's right, guys. This week, the Offensive Player of the Week was a tough one. But in the end, this week, it goes to wide receiver Kyle McBride. The junior put up some massive numbers this week, including 128 receiving yards and a touchdown. McBride also had a long of a 47-yard reception, but this touchdown you're going to see right here is what gave the Falcons their first lead of the day, and what a catch that was. I feel like we will be seeing it again later. Congrats to Kyle, but make sure you stay with us when we get back. Jake Tatum and Coach will break down a great Falcons second half, and I will tell you who our defensive player of the week is. Don't touch that remote. Falcon Focus. We'll be right back.
We're back with more Falcon Focus with Jake Dayton and Marshall Kramsky.
Welcome back to Falcon Focus. It's now time to break down the second half of the game.
Okay, Coach, so by the time the fourth quarter rolls around, you guys are down by 13. We all know what the final result was, but what happened in that second half especially for you guys?
Well, I think Western New Mexico did some good adjustments at halftime and stopping some of our run game stuff that we were having success with in the first half. So we struggled a little bit there in the third quarter. And then I think the only thing that really changed for us is we were a little bit more consistent in the passing game of just finishing some plays at the wide receiver position. Came up with some big catches that we weren't making early in the first half. And at the end, that's what won the ball game for us.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about that final possession. That's what won the game for us. What clicked in that moment?
All of it did. We were able to run the ball when we needed to and complete passes, move the ball down the field. I thought one of the biggest things about it, and Coach Felt talked about it a bunch with the offensive line, was the poise that they played with there those last two drives. It would have been easy for our guys in the situation going down with that punt return for a touchdown, it being 20-7 in the fourth quarter, for our guys to kind of go, here we go again. And they really just seemed unfazed by it all. The punt return for a touchdown, our block team went out there and actually blocked the extra point. And that's a key moment in the game. We gave up a punt return for a touchdown. Again, our guys didn't quit. They went out, they blocked that extra point, which then allowed us to kick our extra point when the time came to go up 21-20. But the poise our guys played with, I think, is what helped there at the end.
Now, you talk about poise, but how about X's and O's? What was working specifically in those last two touchdowns that you guys had to take advantage of?
The same things that were there in the first half, we missed. We dropped 2 touchdown passes early. We dropped another deep ball. There was a lot of opportunities that we had, and this was the first time that I felt like our receivers just didn't play clean. That's been a great position for us up to this point. We just weren't very clean early in the game and finishing some of those big plays that we had opportunities to make, and then in the last couple drives, and those guys came through clutch with some tough catches. So I'm glad they showed up when they did and ended up with a great night.
Absolutely. Late in the fourth, Marquise scored that TD to put our guys 21-20. Did you think it was over at that point? I mean, there's 15 seconds left.
Yeah, come on now.
Well, no, I walked the sideline and tried to remind everybody there's 15 seconds on the clock. We still had to kick it off to them, and they had a good return game going.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you just never know what's going to happen, and you never want to get too high. And it's something that we always talk about as a program. Of you got to play the next play, stay level-headed, and although we scored a touchdown, we went up by 1. There's still 15 seconds left. And you got to finish that game before you get too high in your celebrations.
Let me ask you this. When Keegan Gray intercepted the ball, we saw Coach Martin run onto the field. What were you doing? Did you turn around? Did you do anything? Do you remember that last moments of the game? I
probably took a big sigh of relief. Handed my headsets to somebody and started looking for their head coach, shake hands with him. I think Coach Tristan's over there is going to put together a phenomenal program at Western New Mexico. I thought his team played extremely hard, and he did a great job. Just wanted to congratulate him, make sure that he knew that he's doing well in his first year in that program.
Now, I gotta say, that last moment, there was so much energy at Ratliff. It's just, I love it. I love it. I want
true
more
D1
of
community.
It. That's
true.
True. That is true. We're gonna now send it over to Marshall, who has this week's Defensive Player of the Week.
Thanks again, guys. This week's Defensive Player of the Week also wins the award for the most luscious locks of the Falcons, Mr. Keegan Gray. Gray had his hands in a little bit of everything. 7 tackles, 1 for a loss, and a big interception when the Falcons needed it most. And here it is, that monster pick on the last play of the game, putting the final touch on the Falcons' first win of the season. That's a wrap for our offensive and defensive players of the week, but don't go anywhere. Later in the show, I will break down our play of the week.
We're We're back with more Falcon Focus with Jake Dayton and Marshall Kramsky.
Each week, we're introducing you to one of the members of this Falcon football team.
And it has been so fun getting to know some of these players. Cheerleaders like Jared Thames and Chris Hode. You've met big personalities like Javon Johnson. And this week, we're introducing you to the family man, Trace Notley. Born and raised West Texan, Trace Notley grew up on all things Friday Night Lights. So it should come as no surprise that he picked up on the game our area is known for.
And then you're just working your feet through here, and that's why you gotta stay low so you don't hit your head right here.
His love for the game and his hometown lured him to the Falcon football program.
And it was really an offer I couldn't refuse to stay home, be around my family, and be around a startup program.
But Trace's story is bigger than that. He is helping create a football family.
Probably the biggest thing about it is that I get to get my teammates involved with my hometown.
And the way to his teammates' hearts, Thursday night family dinner.
And my dad cooks, and there's a lot of Falcons that come over there, and we just have a blast. And so just being able to take care of some of the guys that maybe need help because they're not from this area.
His welcoming spirit helps his teammates feel at home. But perhaps more importantly, that quality is what will keep this program around for years to come.
So the fact that we are able to contribute to that, and 5-10 years down the road come back and people can point to us and say that y'all were the reason that this is so huge now.
Trace is an awesome guy. Not only did we watch him under the Friday Night Lights at Permy and now doing it at Ratliff Stadium with you guys, how much does he mean to your team?
It means the world. His personality, he's infectious. There's always a smile on his face, and one of the most caring and giving guys in the program. Great man of faith, and to be able to keep him home, I think was huge for us, and far beyond just football. Just what he means to the program, and he talked about family, and he truly treats all his teammates like brothers. He embodies what it means when you talk about the locker room being a family and teammates and all that kind of stuff. He's invaluable. I love the fact that he's with us. I love him. He's a guy 20 years ago I would have loved hanging out with. But we'll have a great coach-player relationship. And one day when he graduates, I'm sure we'll hang out a little bit and have some fun.
Absolutely. And when you talk about or think about the big picture of this football program, he sees it. He gets it. He knows that it's hard to start a program, but he sees how special it is and how great it is to have somebody like that young getting it and getting to share that with his teammates.
Absolutely, because we get both sides of it. We get the guys that come in and they get a little frustrated, a little down because they can't see the big picture. And again, talk about this generation, everything's at the click of a button, instant gratification. How many likes did I get on Instagram or whatever? And it's hard to kind of get them to understand the big picture. And Trace gets it, and not only that, he shares it well. And that helps us in recruiting and keeping kids within the program, that when you have those guys that are bought in, they can see the big picture. They can share that big picture and kind of keep others focused. What's our ultimate goal down the road? And it's not all going to be a click of the button right now, but here's where we're going to get to, and it's something special. And like I said, he's invaluable.
Love it. We're not going to send it over to Marshall one more time. He can show us the play of the week.
Hello for one last time. Now, we've already heard his name a lot, and rightfully so, because he was our Falcon Offensive Player of the Week. And it's also the Play of the Week, courtesy of Kyle McBride. It all starts here with Taylor Noe putting the ball in the absolute perfect location where only McBride could grab it. And watch the ups on that young man. That's a touchdown. Let's check it out again. Wow, he gets high. If I'm Coach Newman, I'm seeing if this kid has any interest in joining the Falcon Hoops team. And that is a wrap for all of our Falcon individual accolades, but don't touch that remote. We got more Falcon Focus coming at you after the break.
We're back with more Falcon Focus with Jake Dayton and Marshall Kramsky.
As the football program gains momentum, Coach Kerrigan has grown his staff to ensure each player is getting the attention they need to hone their craft.
I've had the chance to get to know the new coaches this season, and this week I went on a 100-yard walk with Coach Jeremiah Williams. I'm with the wide receivers coach, Jeremiah Williams, and we're getting to know you at 100 yards. So first things first, tell me where you're from. What's your background?
From Dallas, Texas. Went to Allen High School. College-wise, I went to Trinity Valley in Athens, Texas, and then went to Eastern Kentucky and finished my 5th year at Abilene Christian.
Okay, so then what got you into coaching?
Just something I always had goals for it and inspirations for it growing up as an athlete. Just always wanted to be in coaching and give back to the athletes that's always want to be involved in some sports. And also I had coaches that was role models and mentors to me as I was growing up, so that's what I always wanted to do.
So to think that you get to be that for somebody else, is that something that keeps you coming back every day?
Oh yeah, yes ma'am, definitely, most definitely.
So how has your experience been with UT Permian Basin so far?
Man, wonderful. It's been great. It's been a challenge. It's been a growing, it's been a learning experience all the way around. And man, just something I'm still working something towards each and every day, growing and building.
So as a coach, you know, and taking that, your experience as a player, now coach, you know, this team has seen a lot of challenges and some adversity. How do you keep your players motivated week to week?
Just on the competitive edge. It's not about the wins or losses. It's about how you respond to it. And so it's just about making sure the players are still all in together and that they stay committed to the program. And I mean, if you got that competitive edge, then no matter what, you're never gonna quit.
Sure, sure. So what are some good things you're seeing out of your players that you work with?
Fundamental, holding each other accountable, being responsible, building relationships also, because we got a lot of freshmen that's just now getting here. And so like what I see from the ones that's already been here is a lot of mentoring. And so they always taking them in, coach, man, he need help with this, he need help with that. And so they always leading by example, being a good leader to them.
That's great. So we're getting to the end of our 100 yards. I do this with every coach. Coach Williams, if you had a superpower, what would your superpower be?
What would my superpower be? That's a tough one right there. For a superpower, probably Flash.
Be like Flash?
Be like Flash, just move around fast, be able to get here and there with quickness, and I mean.
That would serve a wide receiver very well.
A wide receiver, yeah. That's a talent and a skill you gotta have.
I like it. What you didn't see, it was raining during that. I thought I got out of news and I would never have to work in rain again. But hey, that's okay. Coach, talk a second about what these coaches have brought to the program, not just on the field, but off the field. Coach Williams mentioned, they're there as mentors for these guys. What does that mean to them?
Well, for one, we'll go back and talk about Coach Woolley comes from Westlake High School, traditional power program of state championships. Coach Jeremiah Williams comes from Allen. He was there when they won their first state championship at Allen High School. And having those guys that come from that background of greatness and success and what it means, the commitment it takes to get to that level, I think is great to have them mentoring our younger guys coming into a new program and understanding what it takes to work at a championship level.
They're great.
Thanks, Coach. All right, before we go to the break, this Saturday there was a little bit more of national hype than most UTPB games.
Yeah, so what's the best way to get your team on the national radar? A note out of these UT Permian Basin alumni's book. Just make these massive signs and hope you get put on national TV. And that's exactly what happened for this group. They helped plaster UT Permian Basin all over ESPN's College Game Day.
Last Saturday we knew that College Game Day was coming here, and so Corey got some signs made and we brought them out.
That's awesome. So did y'all expect to be seen on College Game Day the way that you were?
Yes.
Yes.
we are very silent.
So did y'all have people come up to y'all going, what is that? What's UTPB?
All the time. Every person that asked was like, hey, show us your sign, let's see what it is. And then we'd show them, and they were just like a blank stare, like, oh, confusion. What is this? UTPB.
That's funny. And what'd y'all say?
Sometimes we just were like, don't worry about it, you don't understand. We just wanted to show off our UTPB gear because we all went to school there.
Yeah, we're making Falcons famous.
This is our as good as closest game day as UTPB's got.
That's
right.
We're back with more Falcon Focus with Jake Dayton and Marshall Kramsky.
Welcome back to Falcon Focus.
Can we do it?
And that's it?
Yeah, that's it. No,
okay.
I mean, absolutely not. All right, Coach, coming back. It's coming off of a big week this week. What's ahead for you guys at West Texas A&M?
Well, we're going to face a very talented, tough defense. There's one thing they're really good at, and that's keeping everything in front of them. They do a great job of stopping the run, keeping the pass, bottled up, down tight. Offensively, they like to run the football, and then do a little pass off of that. But last weekend, the running back had somewhere around 35 carries for 239 yards or something like that against a top 10 team in the country. I think right now it's the same for them. They just came off a huge win and beating a top-ranked team, and I think it'll be a matchup of kind of who can play the cleanest for 4 quarters.
Anything different in the game plan this week?
Way too early to tell. I don't know. Right now we're trying to figure out who's healthy and who's not, and start working on the game plan. I haven't even watched a clip of film yet.
All right, Coach. Well, that's all the time we have here on Falcon Focus. Thanks so much for joining us. Make sure you tune in next week and also catch the 5th quarter with Marshall and I next Friday.
So for Jake, Marshall, Coach, and myself, y'all have a great night and an even better week.